evening, Australia, and welcome to Q&A, coming at you live from Trobe University. On tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about the Family Wellbeing Program, and we've got a panel here tonight who are going to discuss all that. So let me introduce everyone, and so to my left, which is your right, we have Claire, who's actually a participant of this program. Claire's mum here, Sam, will be talking as well. And to my right, which is to your left, we have Alana, who's actually specialised in delivering the Family Wellbeing Program. And of course we have Dr. Zoe, who's actually from VU and practices privately as a psychologist. Dr. Zoe, please tell our viewers out there a bit more about mental health and our young people.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. And first of all, I thought I'd begin by discussing some widely accepted definitions of mental health and illness utilised by our healthcare professions today, and to provide some context to an ever-evolving field of study that has been changing since the 1950s. So mental health, as defined by the World Health Organization, is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease, and inclusive of the promotion of health and well-being and the prevention and treatment of mental disorders. The Mental Health Act, published in 2014, defines mental illness as a medical condition that is characterised by a significant disturbance of thought, mood, perception or memory, and can present in forms of depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, personality disorder and eating disorder, amongst others. Young Australians can experience mental illness during adolescence, which is a period characterised by the transition from childhood to adulthood, rapid physical and cognitive development, and it's a time of experimentation and exploration of one's identity. And according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, 1 in 4 young Australians have a mental disorder. Beyond Blue, an organisation that supports and promotes empowerment to members of the Australian community, reports that 1 in 6 young Australians currently experience an anxiety disorder, 1 in 16 is currently experiencing depression, and suicide is the leading cause of death of young Australians, followed by car accidents. Current statistics say that 45% of us will experience a mental illness during our lives, with some individuals and groups more susceptible than others. For example, members of the lesbian, gay, bi, transgender community. Individuals who identify as members of the LGBTI community face higher rates of depression and suicide, and 80% of incidents of homophobic bullying occur in Australian schools. Mental illness does not act in isolation, with high rates of comorbidity and developing understanding of the socio-economic, physical and environmental conditions and individual beliefs, characteristics and history that influence an individual's health and well-being has changed the way in which we view and treat mental illness. We have moved from a culture of hiding mental illness behind the walls of mental hospitals and asylums to community-minded, client-centred care where discussing mental illness is no longer taboo. But this does not mean that mental health is free of stigma and discrimination and environments that contribute to the deterioration of an individual's mental health and well-being. And this reflects the need to ensure that there are supportive, educational, accessible resources and healthcare professionals available to our young Australians and the community.
Wow, those are alarming statistics there, Dr. Zoe. Yeah, I can actually see why this Family Wellbeing Program needs to be in place, actually.
Definitely.
Thank you for those stats. Thanks. So, Alana, you're an expert on the Family Wellbeing Program. You're actually a trainer. Tell our audience a little about this program.
Yeah, so the Family Wellbeing is a program that aims to equip people with the tools they need to make real changes in their lives.
Right.
So it was designed with a view to addressing at a real grassroots level some of the significant disadvantage that was being experienced by Aboriginal people and communities. And I guess at the heart of the program, there's this idea that despite some of the really sad situations that people find themselves in, people contain within themselves the skills and the knowledge that they need to take greater responsibility and control over their lives. And we actually know from evidence that when people are empowered, they're more likely to participate socially, have increased choices and opportunities in their lives, improved quality of life and well-being, those sorts of things. That's from, say, Harvey, Gibson and Pearson. And as family wellbeing trainers, we recognise the value of this, not just for Aboriginal communities, but for all Australian communities, which is why we've decided with permission to take the Family Wellbeing Program broader and reach out to more people who could benefit from it.
So you've chosen to target young people with mental illness, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Tony. And the reason for this is, as Zoe sort of just pointed out, the prevalence of young adults with mental illness is continuing to rise, and there's such a strong need for more services and resources. And the evidence for the Family Wellbeing Program is already out there. We know that there have been studies that have actually been able to demonstrate links between the program and things like people experiencing better communication skills and problem-solving skills, being able to improve the quality of their relationships in their lives. That's from Whiteside, Say and Earls. So there's really strong evidence out there already.
Okay, so you've, excuse me, so you've actually worked with Claire and also Chloe, who's on the phone waiting to speak. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so I was really lucky to be able to work with these two amazing young women in a pilot of the Family Wellbeing Program that we've been running in Inner Melbourne since the start of the year. And we've chosen to discuss the topic of emotions and crisis tonight for our discussion on young adults experiencing mental illness. And the rationale behind this was, sort of, as we heard from Zoe earlier, that this transition period from adolescence into adulthood is really emotionally challenging. So that's why we thought talking about emotions and how to deal with crisis would be really relevant for this topic tonight.
Okay, wow. So on the phone we have Chloe. Chloe has been a participant with the Family Wellbeing Program, and Alana has actually administered this program to Chloe. Chloe, can we hear a little bit about your experiences with Alana and the Family Wellbeing Program? Chloe.
Hi Tony, thank you so much for inviting me to be here tonight. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person. I'm just here to tell you all a bit about my experiences with the Family Wellbeing Program. So, as a young adult struggling with mental illness, the Family Wellbeing Program really helped me to gain perspective on myself and my future. Firstly, just doing this program in a group really helped me to overcome some aspects of my social anxiety. It's always been so hard to sit and interact with a group for me, but having the Family Wellbeing Program as that mediator between the other people and myself, it really helped me to open up and feel comfortable around other people. This has now helped me in numerous ways, like participating in university classes and having that confidence in my ability to attend large gatherings. The Family Wellbeing Program also opened me up to things such as self-reflection, a concept I had really never heard of before. My facilitator, Alana, really helped me to understand it, and eventually I started thinking about my reactions to situations and why I was reacting that way. It really helps me in the moment as well, when something is wrong, to look into myself instead of blaming someone else for what is happening. This ultimately, it really just allows me to lead a happier life. It's also great to have that ability to reflect on the good things I do for myself, my family, and my friends. The last thing I wanted to touch on was that completing the Family Wellbeing Program with other young adults struggling with mental illness, I really felt like I could relate to the people and that they could relate to me. This was so important as I felt like I was being listened to, as well as feeling like I was able to actively listen to them in return. I was able to show empathy and offer advice when suitable. I learned so much from all the other people in my group. I heard how they coped with their mental illness as well as normal adolescent issues, and it really inspired me to not only see what positive change I could put myself through, but also the positive things I could take to other people's lives. Overall, the program was so beneficial to me. Alana was a great facilitator, and I learned such valuable lessons that will stick with me for life.
So, Claire, let's hear a little bit more about your story. What's your experience with mental illness? And also tell us a little bit more about how you came across the Family Wellbeing Program.
Yeah, so my depression actually started from family problems I was having when I was 16. I was not getting along with my family, and as a result of that I got kicked out of the house a couple times. And then due to that I stopped eating and actually got severe anxiety from that and started avoiding social situations like school, hanging out with friends, to all the normal stuff we do as teenagers. And it was so strange because everyone loved going to school at my age and I just wanted to not go, just be in my room by myself, not do anything, just be in the bed. So I knew something was wrong with me, so I went to a counsellor at school, which helped me a lot, gave me someone to talk to, and then once I started uni, I became very, very ill with the anxiety. It had taken complete control over my life, and then it wasn't until I was in that stage for 9 months I was diagnosed with depression, and the diagnosis was such a huge relief because I knew what was happening to me. And yeah. And the way I found out about the Family Wellbeing Program was through my psychiatrist. She said it would be a really great way to self-reflect on all my experiences. So we talked about emotions in crisis within, and I felt like that really helped with what I was experiencing because I had been through a lot of crisis in my life. The one thing I really enjoyed about it was the fact that people participating were going through the exact same thing I was. So like Chloe on the phone, we were going through similar things, so it was good to sort of just talk about it with people like that. Also, the topic of emotions in crisis fit in with what I was going through. But probably the hardest thing about the facilitation was opening up to everyone. I'm normally a very shy, quiet person, don't really like talking to anyone. But I knew it was going to be challenging, but I knew that if my psychiatrist recommended it for me, then it would really help me.
Wow, thank you for your story. Alana, you did a fantastic job. Here she is live on TV, and she just mentioned she was so shy and had all those terrible sufferings.
I've seen amazing progress.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So, Mum, tell us a little bit about your life and how it was living with Claire over here and the way she was, and how's life looking for you now? Tell us a little bit about all that.
So I guess when you have a child, you don't really get told about the hard times and how to manage in certain situations. It is true at home, life got a little tough, and to see the way it affected Claire wasn't easy. Myself and the rest of the family didn't know how to manage, and it really affected all of us. Mental illness, especially with young people, is currently a serious issue, and finding ways to overcome depression or anxiety can be tough. Reflecting on what I witnessed with Claire, she was really struggling until she came across the Family Wellbeing Program. It wasn't long after she started participating in the program that we really started to see some progress and her life started to turn around. She was slowly going back to her old self and was beginning to be more open about how she was feeling. She started to share things about the program and the types of things that went on so that the family, we could also have an understanding and work with it. The communication really started to open up, and not only with Claire but within the whole family. The positive influence of the program on her was able to further impact the rest of us. The topic of emotions in crisis was really relevant and an important topic. At the time, she was having to deal with some normal teenage issues as well as deal with the family problems that were happening. The program was able to help her identify these emotions at the time and learn how to express them instead of bottling them up. As she became more open about her emotions at home, I was able to be more supportive, and we often worked with them through them together. The program has been a real success for us as a family. As Claire progressed through the program, it reflected back on the rest of us, and the dynamics of the family started to change and improve.
Wow, fantastic. So good to hear. Amazing success. Wow. Do you agree with Mum?
I do agree with Mum.
So, Alana, for young people out there tonight watching, if they want to know a bit more about the Family Wellbeing Program and how to access it, can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've actually, we've got a website if people want to go to find more information about where we're running other pilot programs in Melbourne and across Australia. It's familywellbeingandme.org.au. And also, really exciting news, we've just launched an app. So it's also called Family Wellbeing and Me. And it provides basically like an online version of the course. So looking at topics like basic needs, how do we improve our relationships, how do we learn to better manage conflict. So yeah, the app is available on Android and app stores, and that's where you go to check out more information.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Australia, thank you so much for watching. So I hope you've all had some more information regarding the Family Wellbeing Program and how to access it. I'd like to thank the whole panel here tonight. Starting from my right, which is your left, we have Dr. Dolly. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Alana, thank you for delivering this amazing program. To Claire and Mum Sam, and also thank you to Chloe, who couldn't be here tonight but was able to be on the phone. So thank you all, Australia. Thank you so much. Have a good night.